Hello everyone, it's Rosie in the Rockies and this is Flosstube number 10. I hope that you're all well, safe, healthy, and that you've had a great needlework month in February. Things are going well here. We've had some snow, but the weather seems to have turned temporarily, so today we have blue skies, and I've had a lot of stitching progress this month. So in this video, I'll show you two finishes, one of them a Mirabilia Mermaid, and 4 WIPS. I also have a little update on Stitching from Stash 2025, and everyone and everything I mention in this video will be listed in the description box below. So starting with Stitching from Stash 2025, I have not purchased anything related to starting new projects. I have purchased some silks and some fabric because I'm going to try something new, and I'll make a video maybe in a few months letting you know what this project is and how it is turning out. At this moment, I don't know if it will be a success or an epic failure, so I don't want to say too much about it until I've learned more about this new stitching adventure that I'm on. Others have also been participating in Stitching from Stash 2025, and I will put everyone's Instagram up on the screen here, and then also link them all down below. Some are Flosstubers, and then some have Instagrams, and some have both. But one thing I've noticed as I've been watching others' progress, Stitching from Stash, and also making my own progress, is that my desire to start new things has actually really slowed down. My desire to purchase has slowed down, and I've just really been enjoying whichever project I am working on in that moment. It feels like something has shifted for me. I don't know how long that will last, but it seems like my goal of being grateful for what I have, enjoying what I have. I hope if you're stitching from stash, or if you're doing a no-buy or a low-buy, you are feeling the same thing, because it feels really good. All right, let's get into the stitching. Okay, first finish is Renaissance Mermaid by Mirabilia. She is one of my favorite mermaids. She has a really beautiful face, and this one is a stitch that I started in August for one of my dear friends who's turning 40 at the start of April, and we're going away the last weekend in March to celebrate her birthday. But it was a race to the finish line to try and wrap this one up. I started it in August of 2024 and have worked on it consistently for about a week every single month. So if you were stitching her monogamously, it would probably be, I don't know, a month and a half worth of work. Here she is, and I'll do a close-up in a minute. I just wanted to talk you through some of the things that I noticed, and I'm noticing more wrinkles in the viewfinder than I see on the fabric. That's because I won't iron her until I get ready to pin and lace and frame her, and I've not selected a frame yet. So some things I've noticed, my tension is very tight, as you can see, and there were a few places where I chose to leave a couple beads out, particularly in her tail, and then in these kind of scalloped portions of her tail, as well as in the handle of her purse, and then other places where I just left the beads in so they are a bit more crowded. I also made several mistakes throughout the design, but we're just going to call them customizations. Let's do some close-up video clips, and I'll show you some close-ups here. I think of all the Mira mermaids, she has a very beautiful face. And I'm actually going to keep this pattern. I usually give patterns to my best friend to stitch when I'm done with them, but this one I'm going to keep because I might switch out other Mira faces to look more like hers. I really like her face. I love her little crown. And then you can see here, she has two very sparkly treasures. And lots of beading in her tail. Hopefully you can see the light catching. And some other things I noticed. So I think it calls for more beads than you actually need. So beads 02010, you can see very little were, and then just a few at the bottom of her tail. So if you were stitching from stash, I think you could just pull a handful of beads that you had left from another project. Similarly, beads 00525, I hardly used any, and those are in the center of her tail and her head. So again, you don't need very many of these. For the larger beads, 18002, the same thing happened. These are really just in some of these loops in her hair, so you could certainly replace them. I think I maybe used 20 or 30, maybe 20 total, not very many at all. For these beads, 10005, it called for 3 packets. I only used 1 packet and then almost all of the second packet, except for maybe 20 beads, which I then put into the third packet. So you really only need 2. You do not need 3 packets. And then for 10079, I'm not sure if they don't produce it anymore or if they were just out of stock when I kitted this up during COVID. The stitching shop gave me these replacement beads by Sundance, and I used just under 2 packets and then shoved the rest into this third packet. I think you wouldn't need 3 even if you were able to fit all of the beads onto 28 count fabric. There were very few places where I removed a bead to make it fit. So I'm really happy with the end result. I think she's so pretty. Here are a couple of close-ups again of her face and her tail. I could not be happier, and now I just need to find the right frame so that I can gift her to my friend for her birthday. And this is the finished result. I am very happy with it. I think it looks lovely, but because I was traveling for work while working on it, I just kept going when I noticed the mistake. And I think it looks great. I'm so happy with this project. This is my second Mojo Stitches finish, and I believe I have 2 more of her charts and stash, and I can't wait to stitch them. And this is really easy stitch, but it doesn't look easy. It looks really delicate. This one will be a gift for a friend who has a tiki bar in their sunroom, and it's kind of 1960s tiki bar kind of pirate themed. And I thought this would be a great fit for that. So I need to find a distressed looking frame. And here is a close up of the design. So really happy with that. Those 2 projects are finishes number 2 and 3 for this year. So excited about that. I also had a new start, and that is Manor at Quaker Hill. I started this one on February 1st with Angie. Angie Slowly Crafts here on Flosstube and also on Instagram. Angie's stitching Blackbird Design Strawberry Fields, and we're calling these our Red House stitches. Angie, did we come up with a hashtag? I can't remember. If we did, I will insert it on the screen here and down below. This project I am kind of obsessed with. Let me show it to you. So I started in the top left corner over here. This is 2 days of stitching, although it was more stitching time than usual. It was a late night. My kids were having a sleepover, and teen and preteen boys apparently don't go to bed. Here is a close-up. I am loving these colors. They really remind me of a mid-1990s color palette. This is what our living room looked like at my mom's house when I was a kid growing up, and she had a mauve lipstick the same color as the flowers. And it's stitched using all but called for. So this is a 36 count. Is this Legacy? I think it might be Legacy by Picture This Plus. And then all of the Classic Colorworks threads. And I can't wait to get back to it. So Angie and I are actually stitching on our red houses again tomorrow on March 1st. If you happen to see this before then and you want to stitch with us, go ahead and send us a message on Instagram or comment below on Flosstube, and we'll add you to our chat. We're talking about working on our red houses. And I think I'm going to continue working down. I do plan to make a couple of changes with this design, so I'm not much one for stitching initials. I think I'm going to take maybe this little strawberry or maybe this little floral motif and do something similar down here. And I cannot wait to get down here where there are some step satin stitches. I love padded satin stitches, can't get enough of them. So that was my new start. And then I had progress on 4 WIPS. The first one is an every Tuesday stitch with Sophia Stitching Love on Flosstube and Instagram. And Sophia and I are both stitching Butterfly Forrest. Here is what mine looked like last time you saw it at the end of January. And then here is what it looks like now after 3 Tuesdays and 1 Wednesday, because I think we're a busy one Tuesday. Here's what 4 days of stitching look like here. I am loving how this one's turning out. It's so bright. I love the contrast between the foreground and the background. Stitching the background is so pleasurable. It's a lot easier than stitching full crosses on this Aida. I like doing half crosses on this Aida. It's very crunchy. Loving this design. I don't see that many people stitching it. I think Sophia might be the only person I've seen on Flosstube who's stitched it, at least recently. But it's a really good entry point into dimensions. It is a gold collection pattern, but it's not difficult. And I wanted to mention I have made one change, which is that some of the blue half stitches in the background and the white half stitches for the clouds in the background are with 3 strands, and I've just decided I'm not doing that. I have no interest dragging 3 strands through this Aida, so I'm just using 2, and I think it looks fine. Happy with it. My other focus piece for the month is Northern Expression Needleworks Twisted Band Sampler. I don't have a physical copy of the cover photo because I purchased a PDF, so I'll insert what it's meant to look like here. And then I'll also insert a photo of the color conversion I'm doing to be more blue and green, like the Alpine Lakes of Colorado here. Last time you saw it, I was, I think, halfway done with band 7. Here it is now. So I have finished bands 7 and all of band 8. Now, this is, band 9 is the center of the piece, so you can now really see the color gradient, where the color changes from very dark green to very light. And then the next band, it'll be this very light green, and I can't remember what color it is, but I'll pop it onto the screen. So it'll be this color and then a very, very light blue, and then we start getting into the blues. I did make multiple mistakes with these specialty stitches. I think I may have made a mistake with my fabric selection from a first time with specialty stitches perspective. So this, it is a very loose fabric with very large holes, but also lots of slubs. And it is so soft. I love how soft it is. But what that means when I'm getting into the specialty stitches is that sometimes I can't really see, especially with these light colors, what it is that I'm doing. And so there were some mistakes here. And because this project is a learning project for me, I don't mind the mistakes. Nobody else's piece will look like mine. But if you wanted all your stitches to look really even and straight, I might recommend doing this on Aida or a lugana, so that you, or maybe easy grid, so that you don't run into the same challenges I ran into if you are new to specialty stitches, or if you happen to make a lot of mistakes like I do in general. I'm really happy with how it's turning out, and this will continue to be my focus piece 7 days in March. I also worked on Cittlewick Green by Karen Kluba, Rosewood Manor. I am loving this project. It is so beautiful, and many people are stitching on this one. I've decided to get through the entire alphabet before starting what I think is the most beautiful part of the piece, this border and all these trees. I recently watched couple nights ago, I watched Fred Gremlin's recent video, and Aimee started over here, and I was so envious by her progress. Lots of other people are stitching this. Hathaway Stitchers, Tamra Cat Stitches. I'm missing anyone. I think a couple other people on Instagram that I'll link below. So I will show you. This is what it looked like the last time I was up to the letter H in the alphabet. This is what it looks like now. So I've gotten all the way across the top row of the alphabet, and I'll show you a close-up in a second. Could not be happier. This is a 40 count WIPS dye works in the color Mocha. It is difficult for me to see on it when it's dark, so I do use a magnifier that has a light on it when I'm stitching on this in evening. And here is a close-up. I just love these filigree letters. And then I don't know if you can tell, but the color variegation in the green flosses for the leaves and the part of the border that goes up and down. I mean, they're so pretty. This is so fun to stitch on. And the flosses are weeks. I know not everyone likes weeks flosses, but I do. I do get some shredding, but not more than with other threads, with the kind of intense tension I have. So I'm very happy with this one. I do have a goal for March to start the second alphabet row and maybe make it a third or halfway across, depending on how tired my eyes are. And then I'm hoping that I'll finish the alphabet maybe by June so that I can spend some time in the summer getting into these trays. My sons keep asking me when I'm going to get to the houses and all these birds. They've decided that one of these houses is our old house, the other one is our new house that we moved into this past November. This is my partner and I, and this is them, our two sons. And they keep asking, when are you getting to the birds in the houses? That's all they care about. But I really care about the plants and the flowers and the trees and this border. I mean, look how cute this border is. There are little birds in it and lots of different kinds of flowers. And then my younger son called this the pot of gold, and he kept asking, where's the rainbow? So I'm very excited to continue with this project. And then last but certainly not least, I worked on Martha Walmsley 1847 by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I ordered this from Hobby House Needlework. I think the third printing, I think I got it in September or October of 2024 and started it this past December. Here is a picture of what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I'd finished the top border, started working on the left border, and started the left top flowers in a vase. Here is what it looks like now. This is stitched on a piece of 40 count Tabbycat linen in Lollybrack, I think. I'll link it down below. So I was able to finish this rose, stitch the entirety of this motif, and I'm just loving how the blue looks with the pinks in these flowers. And then stitched this rose, these leaves, and started this one, and then hit a page break. I am going to make some changes to this pattern, so I'm not going to stitch the verse or Martha's name. So there will be more empty space, and I think I might move this floral motif over this way. So kind of leave the cap on this branch and then just move the floral motif over and have more branch over here. But in order to do that without a tremendous number of mistakes, I'm going to try and get a good chunk of the border done and get this motif done before I start playing over here. I'm also considering removing this motif and these, I don't know what these are, whatever these things are that are hanging off the bird's back. They don't speak to me. So maybe some more customizations there, but my goal for March will be to try to get all the way down to the bottom of the border. And then I'll just keep chugging along. And I'm hoping to end with this section here, since this is the part that I'm not sure how I'm going to change, but that'll be months and months from now. I have many other things to work on. This is probably my favorite project right now. I'm just loving this combination of the fabric and how delicate the roses look. And I know some people think this border is really finicky, and some have chosen to not even stitch the whole thing, but I don't know, I'm enjoying it so much. So that's all I've got to show you this month. I will be back in a week or so. I'm going to film a couple of flip throughs of some books that my partner and my mom purchased for me on the secondhand market through thrift books and eBay last Christmas. And my mom was complaining to me that she couldn't see what was inside the books when they were listed online. And then I tried to search, and people haven't really made videos about them. So I'm going to do a couple of flip throughs so that folks can make informed decisions before you buy about what's inside those books. And I think I have maybe 4 or 5 books that I'll do that with. And then I'll be back at the end of the month, the end of March, with my next update. If you're so inclined, please leave me a comment letting me know what you're stitching on, or if you'd like to stitch on any of these projects together. And I hope that you're all well, healthy,